So, all about making peace with the past. And, you know, there's these sayings: what's done is done, it is what it is, and you can't rewrite the past. And I'm just here to propose that maybe you can rewrite the past. And, you know, let's just consider this. So, we used to, so I used to study dinosaurs, right? And you know those dinosaurs that are really big, that lived in the Jurassic period, and they have really long necks and really long tails. Well, we used to, when they were first reconstructed in the 1800s, before evolution, the concept of evolution was widely accepted, they were reconstructed similar to reptiles. And crocodiles and alligators have like this sort of body posture, like lizards have this sort of body posture. They were named dinosaurs, terrible or terribly awesome lizards. So they were reconstructed in more of a lizard stance. And then we came to understand more about their physiology through their bone structure, through the microstructure of the bones. And we also came to find some trackways that showed that there's no way they were walking like that they had their limbs right underneath their body. Okay, so we had the same bones, but two completely different interpretations that changed over time. Same bones, different interpretation. And what I'm proposing today is that you can have the same event in the past, but a different interpretation or a different relationship to it. And a lot of times what happens is if we have a trauma, something happens to us, or we are involved in a trauma with another person or an argument or whatever, we recreate it again and again, maybe not consciously, but in the unconscious, in the subconscious. And it's kept alive with whatever vibration, whatever relationship we have to it. We keep it alive. We keep recreating it, recreating that same vibration. And if it's a challenging emotion, a negative emotion, or a low frequency emotion, then that will keep that vibration alive within us. And we now understand that that a lot of these unprocessed emotions actually create dis-ease in the physical body. Okay, we've got this amazing book by Louise Hay, and you can look up these this table that she has in there about the connection between particular emotions or mindsets or attitudes, low vibration emotions. Let me see if I'm getting that in the right place there. I'll back it up a little bit. And low vibration emotions can get stuck in the physical body and cause harm. So when we can change our relationship to past events and we can release these unprocessed emotions, when we can heal our PTSD, then we're no longer in danger of doing harm to our own body temple. Let me see here. Let me look here. Okay, so I just gave you a little example from the fossil record of how we have these, we had the same bones, these sauropod bones, that thunder lizards, really big dinosaurs that were originally reconstructed and thought to be, more sprawling posture like lizards and alligators. And then we found the trackways and we looked at their bones and the microstructure of their bones and figured out, and as well as, their evolutionary path, which animals led to them and which animals came from them. And it allowed us to understand that they had a physiology more like birds and mammals rather than reptiles. They had some other similarities to reptilians as well, but we know from their trackways. And oh, the other thing that's funny about if they were reconstructed, those like Diplodocus, the sauropods, or Brontosaurus, Apatosaurus, if they were reconstructed like lizards, because of their rib cage, they would have had to actually like straddle a trench to just walk around on Earth. Other people put them in like bodies of water, like they would have had to hang out in water because they weighed so much. So we now have like a totally different understanding of these animals that lived in the past. And what I'm proposing today is that we can have a totally different relationship and interpretation and an understanding, and raise the frequency that we are perpetuating about things that happened in the past. Because when we have a lack of peace about the past, then we're, part of our life force energy and part of our consciousness is involved in that, is taken up with keeping it alive and keeping it, either we've blacked out from it, like with trauma. Oftentimes people won't remember. For example, my trauma, I was raped and I blacked it out, and then I drank. I wasn't like a total alcoholic, but I would binge drink and drink regularly, a little bit pretty much every day. And it was a way to keep that in the recesses of my memory. And then when I quit drinking and started doing, the 12-step process and everything, and making amends and, looking at my past. So having that awareness of what is inside of me that I need to release and heal and forgive and accept and love, that came up. And so I was able to, through a number of processes, heal my PTSD. I tried talk therapy, that got it to one level, released most of it. Then I discovered during a yoga meditation, yoga nidra meditation that I had, it's still stored in my left hand. So did some more work to release that. And then through some techniques that I now use with my clients that are very quick, safe, and effective, I've completely released it. And I now understand a way to more quickly release the PTSD for people. But there is a way using Yoga Nidra that I'll get into in a little bit that you can work on. You can start the process and you can start working on it if you have trauma in your past. So it takes energy to keep these various things alive, to keep, bitterness, irritation, hatred, rage, sadness, fear. It keeps energy that could be used towards our health and our prosperity and our abundance in the physical, mental, emotional, energetic, spiritual. We keep recreating it and carrying it with us. It's like we're carrying all this, a big heavy backpack with us around when we have unprocessed emotions, unprocessed trauma, and we're carrying it forward and keeping it alive. But what's awesome is we can actually essentially rewrite the past, right? Because we're in a story about it. We have a particular view of it or relationship to it. And it's not to say that we're condoning what happened at all, but we're saying that I'm not going to carry it anymore. I'm willing to let it go and surrender it. So, anger, loss, hurt, arguments, trauma, wrongdoings, shame, all those things can be released. And the first step in, one more thing I want to say is, going back to the fossil record, we have the fossil record, right, which is a physical record of the Earth's history, of animals through time on Earth. And then we have the Akashic record, which is an energetic record. Akasha means space. So it's an energetic record. If you think about it, like the words I'm speaking right now have a vibration and a sound vibration. They're going out, and, maybe they bump against the walls of my house and come back, or maybe they pass through the walls. I don't know. They go out. We make these sounds. We have emotions that create waves. I don't know, if you've ever been super angry or seen someone who's super angry, like they have a vibration coming off of them, right? So we have this energy that we're emitting, and we live in an infinite universe. So it's just there. Once we create it, it exists. So that's the record of the energetic record of the past. And our soul also has a record. And that record relates to, again, it relates to energy, frequency. Our soul has a particular blueprint that relates to the chakras. I'm going to go into that more next week, next Wednesday. So stay tuned for that. I'll tell you a little bit more here in a bit. But so I'm proposing, and you don't have to take this as truth. Take it inside, sit with it, see what you think. Give me your sense of it. I'm proposing that you can rewrite the past by changing your vibration about it, by changing your relationship to it, by changing your interpretation of it. Just like with the dinosaurs, with the long neck, long tailed sauropod dinosaurs that were originally shown in that lizard-like posture, which is impossible. Like their ribs would have stuck down into the ground. They wouldn't have been able to walk. And we know from the trackways, from the bones and all that, and their relationship to mammals and birds, as well as reptiles and crocodiles, that they were different. They had a different type of physiology. So you can change your interpretation of the past by how you relate to it. If you have a lack of peace about the past, you're carrying that vibration into the now, but also into the future. You're creating from that place, you're carrying it forward. So that's the incentive, to look at these difficult things and heal them. And to heal means to bring back to wholeness, to integrate. So you can rewrite the past. Well, how do you do it? How do you do it? First step is awareness. You've got to become aware of what is unresolved within you. And there's different methods you can use for that. You can use self-reflection, journaling, talk therapy. You can work with a coach like me, things like that. The second step is forgiveness. Forgiveness, because we've got we're holding the past, whatever event happened, we have a judgment about it, that it's wrong, that it shouldn't have happened. And maybe it shouldn't have. I'm not condoning certain things that have happened, but I'm saying that we can change our relationship to them and take the charge off them, so then we have more life force energy to be alive and feel more alive, and have just more energy available for creativity and living our life. So forgiveness, ho'oponopono, is a great forgiveness practice. Ho'oponopono, it's a Hawaiian word, Hawaiian practice, and it's 4 elements. I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you. And I'll put that in the comments, in the chat comments here when I rewatch this, and I'll put some links and stuff in the comments for you. But it's those 4 elements. And there's a great track, actually I'll put a link to it in the comments, where you can listen to it, go into meditation, repeat it. Maybe you're forgiving yourself. A lot of times forgiveness also includes ourselves. And but it can be difficult too. It can be challenging. You might have a lot of reasons why you're not ready to forgive, and that's That's perfectly fine. But when you are ready to forgive, there's a process that you can use that makes it relatively simple. May not be easy, but it's relatively simple. Forgiveness releases us from the judgments that we're holding about the event. And then the third piece is acceptance. It's kind of part of forgiveness, but acceptance, the full integration. You're accepting it. You're allowing the past to be the past, to be what it is, but you're taking the charge off it and regaining some of your own life force energy. So we have awareness practice, becoming aware of what needs to be healed within you, forgiving, releasing our judgments and releasing other people and ourselves, and acceptance, just bringing it all together back into the heart.